Point blank, let's just get straight to it. The Demon Slayer movie was freaking amazing. If you're a fan of Demon Slayer, you are in for something special. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. My name is Zach. I am the Wolf of Geek Street, and if you guys are new here, then hit that like and subscribe button, because I love talking movies, TV, games, and anime on a daily basis. This is my channel, and if you love all those sorts of things, then this is the channel for you guys. As well as make sure to comment down below, let me know your favorite Demon Slayer character, as well as your thoughts on the latest Demon Slayer movie, the first one so far that we have gotten. For me, just point blank, guys, I watched Demon Slayer for the first time this year. I'm kind of being more reinvigorated into loving anime and staying up to date with it all. I have a lot to binge, a lot to catch up on, but Demon Slayer was one of the ones that I made point blank to make sure that I could because of the movie coming up and all the fantastic things that I'd heard about it all. And overall, just flat out, like I said in my intro, I loved this film. I think I have like minimal cons to it, but what I will say is that overall, point blank, when we go and look at the entire series, I've really liked Demon Slayer. I think it's a great anime series so far. Not one of the best that I've ever seen, but it's a great series. I think the animation is top-notch, probably some of the best animation I've seen. The action scenes, all sorts of things like that are great. Overall, it's just the story that's become a little bit repetitive to me so far. Go here, kill this demon. Oh, go there, kill this demon. And I've been waiting for that more emotional arc to finally hit, and this movie hit it for me, and now I cannot wait for season 2. This movie, again, hits you like a boulder with the emotion and the way that it really forms and touches on grief and loss. That is some of the biggest elements that this film tackles on. While the show is definitely dove into it, the movie throws it at you super hard to the point where I had to hold back some tears. And overall, those are some of the biggest reasons that why I love this movie and why I think it is some of the best content yet that we have gotten for the Demon Slayer world. Adding on top of that, the action was great, and we'll definitely dive into all that a little bit more. But of course, what is the Demon Slayer movie all about? Well, you know, the whole Demon Slayer takes place after his family was brutally murdered and his sister turned into a demon. Tanjiro, our main character, journeys as a Demon Slayer, and now, inside this film, Tanjiro and his comrades embark on a new mission aboard the Mugen Train on a track to despair. Now, this whole entire film opens up in, as if you saw the end of the last season, which, before I dive into a little bit more, the one thing I want to say is that for any reason, if you're wondering, you know, I want to go see this, but I have no one to go see with, I'm not comfortable seeing the film alone, let me say this. I took my girlfriend, who honestly never seen anime really in her life. She's watched the Pokemon, the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Avatar: The Last Airbender, the typical things. Never Dragon Ball, never Naruto, never My Hero Academia, Tokyo Ghoul, all sorts of stuff like that. She's never watched anime before. Now, I took her to this being a little bit worried, and knowing that she'd never seen the show, but she wanted to see it and just kind of get her first tidbit into the world. And she left, first off, 3 different things. She gave this film 9 out of 10. She thought it was a little bit too long, which maybe that'll be one of my cons as well. She wanted her own sword, and she definitely wanted to head home and watch the show on her own. And she followed along for the most part. She said the only thing she didn't really get was, like, who's who and, like, what are their backstories and what are this, and, you know, I had explained a little bit of that before the pre-show, but she still said she had quite a few questions watching the movie, which makes sense. So I think in that avenue, the thing I really want to say is great job to them for developing a film that is open to a wider audience that isn't just accessible for the fans of the show, but again, it's pretty interesting how that all works. It's my thing. I already stated that this is my favorite thing that Demon Slayer has told yet, and I cannot wait to see what season 2 does. My biggest pro to this entire thing was the story. I love how it took off, and again, it takes place right after where season 1 had ended. They're hopping on the train, and it just opens up again with this whole thing of what is going on, who are we facing on here, and the thing that I love about this movie is that it just kept going in a sense. Like, you would go to a certain place and you'd be like, that seemed pretty easy. Oh no, there's more to this than you would think, and these battles escalate, becoming here, heading all the way up to here. And, you know, when it comes to anime films like this that are based off TV shows, sometimes they're canon, sometimes they're not. This is very much canon. And I love how they really dove into that, because everything that happens in here is definitely going to have a lot of precautions for the future of this entire show, which again makes me excited for season 2. The thing about this all, though, is just starting with the action and the animation, since that kind of goes hand in hand, The way that they animate this show is so unique to almost any other anime going about right now, or any other anime that I've surely watched. It has this 3D motion to it, but it's combined with 2D to a sense that it really just brightens and brings to life the screen in a way that I honestly haven't seen in quite a while. And I think what this show does so well is combining those elements. And again, when it comes down to the action scenes, they're always very enthralling, invigorating, and very much innovative. I would say almost every single action scene is always topped above the next one. And this movie, again, takes everything that we saw in the show and doubles down on it into a really unique and action-packed, I mean, almost the whole entire thing is the finale. But it just fits so well. Whether it's the first few demons that he faces in the beginning, towards even the middle half when he's facing this main demon that you see, and just all the little elements that it sprinkles through, and right when you think you're done, you're not. It just keeps going. And that might be a con to some people because this is almost a 2-hour film, but it is freaking awesome watching all these fights go down, especially in particular the last one. The last one honestly had me wanting to jump out of my seat and scream to the high heavens of how I was in this. And that's what a great movie or show can do, is when it can get you into it and jump up and go, come on, you got this! Demon Slayer has done that before for me. I know My Hero Academia has done that for me, Naruto, whatever you want to call it. Any of those animes that you're big fans of, they're always going to get you like that, and that's what makes it fantastic. That's just the beginning of why I really love this movie, and again, what I've really been wanting from the show is that emotional arc that I've been looking forward to. I think the show has carried some of that, but the movie really emphasized that enough to make not even just a fan of the show love it, but someone who's never even seen the show care for everyone. And in a sense, brought me to tears. I had to hold back some tears a couple times. Of course, with our main 4 characters that we followed through, there are some really interesting things that they do with them on an emotional scale that, again, I'm not going to get into spoilers with. There's these dreamlike scenarios that they go through that added a lot of different things to it. And especially when you kind of go about our main characters and you look at every single person and in general, the things that they do with them. When you look at Tanjiro and how his dream sequence goes compared to, of course, Insaku and Zensu, who I'm terrible with names. Like, I know that's not how you say them, so please don't kill me in the comment section. I'm terrible with names. I can only say a couple, but those two in particular I have a really hard time saying. Their dream sequences were a little bit more fun and funny, but the one that really hit me was a character that we kind of just started finally learning about, and I'm gonna make sure to try and get his name right, was Mr. Rengoku, who was introduced a little bit later in the last season, and the stuff that they do with him in here was some of the most emotional stuff that the show has done overall, and a character that I was really much emotionally attached to. And seeing kind of the comparisons and differences to him and Tanjiro was a big major thing. But it's that emotional thing that they really do. They nail in when they're talking about grief and loss, and how grief and loss are truly much the biggest aspects of the entire film itself. They're the biggest theme and messages that go about. And this is a big thing throughout the entire show, whether it's what demons have lost or whether what our main characters have lost within their families and everything of that nature. The movie nails it home and hits you like a boulder. If you get the boulder pun, then you are a true Demon Slayer fan. But it really hit me in an emotional part where, again, I had to hold back those tears because I was sitting there like, oh my God, this is getting me. Demon Slayer, the movie, was everything I could want and more. The most emotional, touching, and best animation and action scenes yet from this entire property. The way they touched it in grief and loss just hit me like a boulder, and I loved it. Who's never seen Demon Slayer, then honestly, if you want to get your first taste of it, definitely I would recommend seeing the show, but if you don't have time to watch it and you just want to check out the movie in theaters, you must. This is the way to experience it, is in theaters on the big screen, enjoying every single ounce of it. When it comes down to cons, I do think the film is a little bit too long. I think 10 to 15 minutes probably could have been taken out overall. There are a couple things that I probably would have snipped here, snipped there, just on an editing scale to help with the pacing. But other than that, I think this is a near perfect experience, especially for a Demon Slayer fans. And fans, newcomers who are maybe watching Demon Slayer for the first time, this might be your big thing in introduction to anime, and I think you'll really enjoy it. This is a freaking awesome experience, and you must see it this weekend. So if you guys can, please make sure to do that. And with all that said, I'm going to give the Demon Slayer movie an A. Thank you once again, guys, for clicking on this. You guys are seriously all this movie was just something special, and I had a blast doing this. I don't get to talk a lot of anime on this channel, and when I get to, it's a little bit more laid back, chilled, and not as like cohesive and organized as my other reviews, but you know, I just like talking anime, and I feel like you guys are sitting here with me talking with it. So thank you once again for clicking on this, because seriously, all the best. Head on over to Samtron Films on how to see films early, and of course, it's a big thing to you, and a big thing to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do so. Of course, until next time, stay classy.